Boys, I've been waiting to make this video for the longest time, but I finally hopped on Kendo. I have like a 30 win streak on it now, so I'm relatively confident in helping you guys achieve a similar result. Let's get right into the video, bro. Forgot to mention, but like we're super close to 5k subs. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get right into it for real this time. To start, I want to get the most obvious section of the video out of the way, and that's obviously going to be synergy, or basically like what element and weapon you're supposed to be using with Kendo. So there's a variety of things that can probably work on Kendo. Some great examples for you guys would be like Death Dealing Circle into Mortal Ties. So the Death Dealing Circle constantly applies poison to your target, which will then stun them. It's super annoying to fight against, right? When I pop Mortal Ties, they're basically stuck in that circle, and if they want to be in like the outer edges, they're going to be getting constantly pulled in. So they're literally just stuck and forced to take the death dealing. Like in this clip, I'm kind of stupid and I pop it for him. Luckily he doesn't capitalize on that, but like super good synergy. Another really good example is like Zangetsu. A lot of the moves are AoE, and I'm pretty sure they're guard breaks as well, so you can just pop Mortal Ties and just spam all of your moves, which also ragdoll and combo into each other. Super busted. Another great example is my build in Kendo, which is super meta and brain dead because I can pop Mortal Ties again, and all of my moves, which are close range, they can't escape them anymore. And like the main thing about Type Soul's player base is they love running around, and it just completely cancels that out. So find something that's super busted close range, and the only real counter would be to run away. So like for a Gronkars, an example is like the Bone C. They can't really run away from that if I pop my Mortal Ties, and most people aren't sweaty enough to parry that move, so they're just forced to take it. Another great example for Kendo synergy is like Sonata Flow. Sonata Flow is a wonderful move, and there's a ton of different Shikais or elements that allow you to cut a free Sonata Flow up. For example, Bones X allows you to basically get a free Sonata Flow off. There's a ton of different stuff. Literally just experiment around, look, see what works for you, see what works for your playstyle, and you'll be able to find something that'll actually help you win a lot more at Kendo. Because at the end of the day, it also needs to complement your playstyle. Like for me, no build goes crazy, but like, you know, you could not like this build. You could find something that complements your playstyle. Just make sure it still like lets you get some combos in, right? Obviously. But yeah, anyways, let me get the next section. Boys, now we're on to the skill boxes section. Kendo has only 3 skill boxes, and all of them are actually pretty meta slash good. I would recommend picking up Sonata Flow, as it's generally considered the strongest Kendo skill box move. It does solid damage, it's difficult to parry, and it works as a great combo extender. The only real downside to Sonata Flow is the fact that the hitboxes kinda suck, which can be kind of like a double-edged sword, because sometimes you hit them from across the map, and other times you miss them like while you're right beside them. So generally it's a really good move, and I would always recommend getting this. Viscerate is a great gap closer and can combo extend super easily into Sonata Flow or any other move really. If you aren't running Mortal Ties, I would highly recommend picking up a Viscerate, as the extra gap closer is going to be really nice against runners. A lot of Type Soul players now really just love running away and spamming their moves. The only real downside to this move is the fact that it's super easy to block or parry. I would only really run this if you aren't going 50 Kendo, so yeah. Relief is a move that's considered pretty trash, or used to be, but Chaotic recently buffed its damage, making it now a viable choice on comp builds. It removes posture upon hit, and I would highly recommend running this on 50 Kendo builds, as without Mortal Ties it's difficult to extend and sometimes even land this move. Only real downside is that it's fairly easy to parry in my opinion, and even then people do need to learn the parry time. It's like sometimes against new players you can easily just guard break them, but once you do get into the higher elos, people are going to get super sweaty. But honestly, that's kind of just a general thing, right? Like they're going to get better at parrying everything, right? So overall, what I personally like running now is a 50 Kendo, 15 speed, and I obviously pick up Crescent Relief over Eviscerate, just because Eviscerate's super easy to block for people, and yeah, that's literally it. I would just always get a Crescent Relief with 50 Kendo, but if you're going like 25-40, then just pick up a Viscerate. So factor in your Shikai and weapon into this, because you could honestly just have a really crazy weapon that'll combo extend into a Viscerate even if you have Mortal Ties, right? Like don't use this as a rule of thumb, but use this as something that you can go off of if you're confused, right? But yeah, anyways, next section. Boys, let's get into the combo section. So I'm just going to go over some super basic Kendo combos you guys can abuse. Make sure to try and factor in your weapon slash element into this. I obviously can't factor in every single thing in the game, so I kind of just went over like the basic stuff. So let's get right into it. The very first combo that I want to go over, the very first thing is obviously going to be Flower Passage. feint that into either Rising Swallow or Sonata Float. This is super easy to land. It works on most new players, and also in this clip, a freaking bug ran onto my keyboard. But anyways, right? So Sonata Flow, you want to, if you use Sonata Flow, you can literally Rising Swallow after. If you use Rising Swallow, you can Sonata Flow after. I personally like running Rising Swallow into Sonata Flow into like vertical down, and then you can even Horizon cut into that. It's super nice, very basic combo. Make sure to spam this and actually get this down. Summarizes Kendo gameplay in a nutshell. If anything else, I'd recommend having moves that gap close slash combo extend as substitutes for flower pass, because mostly you're just going to be spamming that basic combo. Some great examples obviously are like Eviscerate, my Inksy, Mortal Ties is really great to actually confirm Sonata Flow, because a lot of the time if they're going to be jumping around, it'll be difficult to land it, but once you pop that Mortal Ties, they'll be right beside you and you can get that free Sonata Flow off. Overall, I'm not gonna lie, Kendo's really just spamming that one combo over and over. I can't really get more into it unless I factor in your Shikai or whatever. Just make sure it's something that actually works with this combo. Let's get right into the next section. Weaknesses and strengths. So for this section, I'll be going over what Kendo's basically good at and what Kendo kind of sucks in. So like for example, when it comes to playing against people that play super passive, you will struggle a bit on Kendo. That's why I highly recommend you guys pick an element with gap closers. On base Kendo kit, you will have like Flower Passage and Floating Petals, but both of those get cancelled on hit. So basically, if they're playing like a loser Quincy Keto player and they hit you while you're moving towards them, it'll keep you in the animation, but it'll remove all the momentum and you won't be able to attack or whatever. And basically what that does is it gives them a free combo starter. So for that reason, I would make sure to pick an element, so like Shikai, Shrift, Partial or whatever, that has some decent combo extenders, or just get Mortal Ties and Eviscerate. Those are really nice as well. But generally speaking, make sure you have a way to get close to them, because now we get onto our strength. The strength of Kendo is the exact opposite, being up close and personal. So like hence I would always recommend trying to land your Mortal Ties, land your combo starters, and then spam the basic Kendo combo that I showed you guys in the previous section. That is your bread and butter. That is the combo you should always be spamming. So as a Kendo player, just try and get as close as possible to people. The good part is Kendo does a freaking damage, bro. So like when you do land your combos after they've been running away for like 10 years, you should be able to deal a decent amount of damage. But as long as you're running Mortal Ties, which I highly recommend you do, by the way, is over Eviscerate, you will be completely fine. So yeah, that's it pretty much for this section. Just make sure to have a way to actually get close to them and counteract that weakness, because when you fight against passive players, which trust me you will, it is going to feel like hell. That's not as important that I'd still like to mention is in clan wars and in gank scenarios, you will be kind of disadvantaged just straight up due to the fact that you will not have access to as much movement as other people. So make sure to keep a move like Floating Petals always like just there as a movement. Like that's why I have it on my 7, which is what I have Phantom Step on. Like it's just great for movement, so always keep something like that. Next section. The last section, I'm gonna need your help. So normally I'm supposed to be given some tips and tricks here. However, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know much about Kendo and like the sense of having some extra information that I can really give you. So if anybody does, or if you've been playing Kendo for a while, make sure to comment them below and I'll make sure to heart and pin all of the good ones. Thanks for watching and goodbye.